Okay, today's lesson is going to be about integer addition. We're going to be exploring this concept with rocks and balloons. Here is the situation. We have a magical floating basket. This basket floats and rests at 0, right? What's cool about this basket, though, is if I attach a balloon to this basket, it goes up. And if I attach a second helium balloon to the basket, it's going to go up even more. And so then it makes sense that if I'm going to get rid of these balloons, the basket is going to sink back to 0. Now, balloons make the basket go up, but a rock, if I add a rock to the basket, that rock is going to make the basket sink. A second rock is going to make the basket sink even more. And if I get rid of these rocks and delete them, remove them from the basket, what happens to this basket? Does it hang out here still? What's going to happen to it? It's going to float back up to 0. Exactly. So with that in mind, what do you think a rock represents? Thank you for the hands. Alexis. A negative, yeah. Rocks represent negatives. So then, what do you think a balloon represents? Thank you for the hands. Tanner. Yep, these are positive numbers, exactly. What happens if I have a balloon in the basket and a rock in the basket? Luis. It's going to stay at the same. It's going to stay at 0. And it's going to stay at 0 because that balloon would have made it rise and then the rock would have made it sink. Or if you did it the rock first, the rock would have made it sink, but then the balloon would have made it rise back up. So either way, when I have a rock and a balloon, that ends up being 0. We call it a 0 pair because the pair of items, there's 2 items, so it's a pair. The pair of items make it go to 0 or keep it at 0. Yes, Trace. Exactly. Yes, if there's 100 balloons and 100 rocks, now we have not just 1 0 pair, but 100 0 pairs. Just like there, I added a second balloon and a second rock. So all that means is I have a second 0 pair, which means it still is going to stay at 0, whether it's 1, 2, 100, or 1,000,000. We can have 1,000,000 0 pairs and it is still going to stay at 0. Okay? So we know rocks represent negative numbers. We know balloons represent positive numbers. So now we're going to do some second grade math in the 7th grade way. Okay? So we have 4 plus 3. And I don't want you to think about it as 4 plus 3. I want you to think about it as a positive 4. Well, positives, you just said, are represented with balloons, right? So what is in the basket to start? 4 balloons. So I'm going to go ahead and drag out 4 balloons. Already done it. This symbol is more important than you realize. This symbol here means we're adding. And what that really means is there's stuff that's not in our basket yet that we are going to move into our basket. That's what add means. So again, I started off with the 4 balloons. I already have those on my screen. You have them on your boards. I'm writing 4 balloons. This means that we are adding something that's not already in the basket that we are going to put in the basket. And what is that thing? If I look after the plus sign, I can see the number 3. Is that a positive 3 or a negative 3? Positive 3, which means I'm going to be adding 3 balloons. So I'm going to go ahead, pull out 1, 2, and 3 more balloons. I should back up. When we had our 4 balloons to start, my basket was up here at 4, right? And then I added 3 more balloons, and that made it go up 1, 2, and 3. Yeah? Where's the basket now? You can't pick up your basket on your paper and move it around. So when we take notes, it needs to look like this. It started here at 0. We had those 4 balloons in the basket. So I'm just drawing the arrow to show where that basket went to. And then I added 3 more, so draw that second arrow to show the other 3. So plus 3, and then here was our 4. Where's the basket now? At 7. Why is it at 7? What is inside the basket making it go to 7? Andrew? Exactly. So 4 balloons add 3 balloons is equal to, yes, 7. I wrote 4, but I meant 7. Yes, 7 balloons. Or in other words, positive 7. Nice and easy, right? Here's your next one. Let's see how you can do. Let's talk about what we see first. What is this right here? Louis, thanks for the hand. 5, positive 5. So that means I'm going to start with 5 balloons. Yes, 5 balloons. I am going to be adding to the basket because that's what this next thing says right here. It says we are going to add in something that's not currently in the basket but is going to go in the basket. What exactly am I adding to the basket? Gabriel. 3 rocks. How do you know it's rocks? Has a negative, exactly. So 5 balloons add 3 rocks. Let's make that happen. 5 balloons. I'm going to add them in, just like you guys are adding yours in, adding 5 balloons. And if I have 5 balloons in the basket's no longer at 0. Now the basket is up here at not 3, but not at 2, because look at what's in the basket. 5 balloons. So the basket is up here because of the 5 balloons. Now we can finish the rest of the problem. Now I am adding 3 rocks. When I add a rock, what's happening? Andrew, thanks for the hand. It's going to go down 1, but I can't add just 1 rock. It says I need to add 3 rocks. So 1, 2, 3. Where is that basket now? It's at 2. Let's talk about why it's at 2. Again, here's my arrow. Basket was up here, but then those 3 rocks made it sink down, so it's going to be right there. And why? Why is it at 2 when I have 5 balloons and 3 rocks in there? Who thinks they can do a good job explaining? Good, Matthew, give it a try. Mm-hmm. Yes, we could get rid of them. I don't want to get rid of them because really, all of these are just zeros. Yeah, it's just 0 pairs. So there's no need to get rid of them because they're just 0 pairs. It's just zeros. So what I want you to show is 5 balloons add 3 rocks. What do we end up with? We end up with 3 0 pairs. I want you to write that down. 3 0 pairs and an extra 2 balloons. I don't want us to forget that there are those 0 pairs in there. So I want that to be part of the notes. 3 0 pairs and an extra 2 balloons. So what is 5 plus a negative 3? Why, that's equal to positive 2. Nice and easy, right? Okay. Here's your next one. 7 plus a negative 5. Work with your groups. Get it modeled. Add the notes to your page. We're going to come back together in a second. I'm going to pause the recording as students work in their groups on this one. Okay, what's in the basket? What's in the basket? Where am I starting? Let's start with Emily. 7 balloons. It's going to take me a second. I'm going to get my 7 balloons in my basket. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seven balloons in the basket, which means the basket's no longer here at 0. It's all the way up here at 7. I'm going to draw my arrow to show it's no longer down at 0. It's up at 7. Okay, what's happening? What am I doing? Let's go to trace. Ooh, before the negative 5 though, what does this mean right here? Yes, that means something's not in the basket, but we're going to put it in the basket, right? Good. Okay, you jumped a little bit ahead, but I do like what you said. So what is it that we're adding to the basket? This says negative 5, which means I'm adding in 5 rocks. Exactly. So 7 balloons, add 5 rocks. And again, anything that I'm doing up on the board, I want it to be copied down on your paper as well. 7 balloons, add 5 rocks. There's that first rock. Look at where I put the rock. I put it on a balloon. Why? Because what's happening with that rock and balloon now together, Caitlin? It's making a 0 pair, exactly. So here's the second rock, third rock, fourth rock, and fifth rock. So look at what I created here. 5 0 pairs and 2 extra balloons. Let's write that down. 7 balloons, add 5 rocks. We end up with 5 0 pairs and an extra 2 balloons. All right, modeling this with my basket now. It was up at 7. I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rocks. So where did that basket end up? At 2. And why 2? Because there are 2 balloons. Are there extra 0 pairs? Sure. But what do we have extra? 2 balloons. Nice and easy, right? Are you ready for a challenge? Okay. 2 plus a negative 5 with your groups. Ready, set, go. 2 plus a negative 5 means I am starting with 2 balloons. To that basket, I am going to be adding 5 of something. 5 of what exactly? Bladen? 5 rocks. Yep, 5 little pebbles. So these 2 balloons raise the basket up to here. But then I'm going to add some rocks. And look at this first rock, zeroes that one out. Second rock, and now I'm at 0, but I haven't added enough rocks yet. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 more rocks so that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look what happens to that basket. Dot, dot, dot. How'd you guys do? You guys did? Great. So what is 2 plus a negative? What is 2 plus a negative 5, Andrew? It is negative 3 because 2 balloons add 5 rocks ends up being 2 0 pairs. With an extra 3 rocks. Making it be not just 3, but negative 3. So that one wasn't too hard, was it? Can you do this one then? Uh-oh, I'm seeing something interesting here that I haven't seen yet. Let's take a look at this. Here, we have parentheses. Here, no parentheses. Will you please discuss with your groups why were there parentheses here and no parentheses here? Discuss with your groups on this one. Thank you for participating in this discussion, Aaliyah. Yeah. That is definitely part of it. So in the beginning, when we have negative numbers, a lot of times those negative numbers are going to be in parentheses. Because without the negative number, especially when we're first learning this can be confusing. It might look like it says 2 plus minus 5. So putting the parentheses around us make us realize, oh, it says 2 plus. This symbol here makes it part of the number, so it's 2 plus the number negative 5. And it's not as necessary here because there's no way that that's subtraction when there's nothing that we would be subtracting from. So when we see it at the beginning, we know, oh, that just means negative 2. Sometimes you will see it in parentheses even at the beginning. Sometimes you'll see it not in parentheses even at the end. This is because eventually we start to be really lazy and we just don't need parentheses anymore, and that's the truth of it. So you guys, in the beginning I want us to use parentheses, but no, sometimes they're not always going to be there. So back to this one. We would say this negative 2. So that means I'm starting with 2 rocks. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Model it with me. 2 rocks, which means the basket is starting down here at negative 2. To that basket, I am adding I don't know what just happened. I'm adding 7. 7 whats? What am I adding this time? Thank you for your adding to the conversation, Orion. Yep, 7 what? 7 rocks? 7 balloons? Exactly, 7 balloons. So starting where I am down here at -2, I'm going to be adding 7 balloons. What happens with the first balloon? Is it really doing a whole lot? No, it's zeroing out a rock. Adding the second balloon, is it really doing a whole lot? Still zeroing out a rock. And now, adding another balloon, now we start raising up, right? 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I left off, let's see, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where did that basket end up? At 5. Because -2 plus 7 is equal to 5. Why? Because there are 2 0 pairs. I'm going to move that basket because it's kind of in the way. 2 0 pairs with an extra 5 balloons. Okay, next problem. This is a fun one. This is where it starts to get challenging. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, model it with your groups, see if you can find the answer. With your groups, ready, set, go. I'm going to pause the recording as students work together. What's in the basket? What are we starting with in the basket right now? Seth. 6 rocks. When I start with those 6 rocks, what am I going to be doing? Bladen? Exactly. Exactly. So I'm starting with 6 rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rocks, making the basket fall all the way down here to -6. And I am adding 2 more rocks. So when I add another 1, 2 rocks, where is that basket going? Even more negative. It's going even lower. So where does it end up? At -8. Make sure we make this connection here. Rocks plus rocks is going to equal more rocks, and that makes perfect sense, right? How many 0 pairs do we have? How many 0 pairs? Louise, thank you. How many 0 pairs? None. No 0 pairs. Because we added rocks with more rocks. There were no balloons in there to create some 0 pairs. Rocks plus rocks is more rocks. Let me see. How many problems? Okay. Let's hurry and finish this one. -6 plus 10. We're doing it together as fast as we can. -6 means I'm going to start with 6 rocks. Let's put the hands down so we can focus on getting this problem done. I apologize that I don't have time to call on hands, but let's just get this problem done. -6 means I have 6 rocks. So that basket is all the way down here at -6. This time, even though I'm starting with rocks, I'm adding 10 balloons. And I know that I'm adding balloons because this is a +10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at what happened with those first 6. They paired up perfectly with all of these rocks. So there's the 6 and then 7, 8, 9, and 10 means this basket goes all the way up to 4 because there are 4 extra balloons in that basket. So how many 0 pairs? 6. 6 0 pairs and 4 extra balloons. So -6 plus 10 is equal to 4. I know we have one last problem. I know some of you have also worked ahead, so you already have it done. And if you have not worked ahead, then Can you please complete this problem as homework? What I need you to do now is listen. I haven't said clean up. We're listening. I need you for your official homework. I want you to write a short paragraph, just one paragraph reflection about what we did today. These questions are things that you can think about as you write your reflection. So that doesn't mean just answer the question and write the answer right here. You're writing a paragraph. But when you're writing the paragraph, you're talking about these things. What does a balloon represent? What does a rock represent? You're including that in your reflection. So it might start something like this. In class today, we talked about a magical floating basket. And balloons make the basket go, and rocks make the basket go down, which means balloons represent. Do you see how we're doing that? We're talking. Whoa, what's happening? What's happening? We're still sitting and listening, right? That's what's happening. Yes, I thought so. We are writing a one paragraph reflection and we are answering these questions that are here. Where can you write that paragraph? And the back of your packet is a completely blank page. Please turn to the blank page on the back of your packet. That is a great place to write your reflection. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.